So let's talk about identity. This is not something I want to talk about because of all the stigma that identity politics has gained over the years, and because individualism has a lot to do with identity. And nowadays, we are propagated all kinds of nonsense about being yourself and expressing yourself, etc. So it's just another way of appropriating a cause. That is what happens very often under capitalism. Capitalism is going to dirty everything it touches. So, identity politics is definitely a technique that is used to draw our attention to something that otherwise may not be noticed, and it is something that is done to divide us as people, not even as communists. As people, we often feel divided because of identity questions. But I was not going to talk about this. Why am I talking about this? I was going to talk about personal identity and how I've always had a hard time identifying myself, and I never felt like I needed to. But recently, a comrade, a very good and trusted comrade, mentioned that it appears like I am trying to be someone else and not on camera in real life. And this person knows me very well. And they told me that it seems like no matter what it is I achieve, no matter what it is I want in life, it is always as if I want to be someone else. And that is true. I agree. I have never felt comfortable just the way I am. I always felt like I had to change. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to change, but in my case, it became a very harmful thing. And I talked about this at length in my Not Like the Other Girls video and in my Agreeable Woman video, but the identity question pertains to everyone, and we all, to an extent, suffer from harmful stereotypes, and we suffer from the fact that we're pushed to discover who we are at a very early age, and it is unreasonable. It is unreasonable to tell young people that there is some kind of a static self that they have that needs discovery. The dialectical approach tells us that everything changes. So the dialectical approach would have you examine what it is that you have and look at the contradictions that are present and try and predict what kind of quantitative changes are going to take place and what kind of possible qualitative changes are going to occur later on. So with this approach, I think young people are going to have an easier time discovering who they are and understanding that they don't have to be a certain something all their life. And if they have discovered that they are X, let's say, and I'm not talking about, gender necessarily, I'm talking about, just overall being human. And if, let's say, a young person discovers they are an X kind of person, they may, under the current Eurocentric kind of logic, they may feel like, oh, now they have to always be this. And if they change, then they have betrayed themselves. And that's just not true. Uh, so the dialectical method allows for the flexibility that is true to the natural world, whether we want it or not, whether we accept this notion or not. This is a natural truism, so to speak. So I think that looking at the identity question from a dialectical standpoint can really clear out much confusion and can really help a person stop being rigid and stop feeling like an imposter. So I started applying the dialectical method in my own life, and I encourage everyone to try and do the same.